Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? Just wanna appreciate everybody for joining in, tuning in to the Life Malcolm Show, another episode. My name is Life Malcolm. I'm your host for the evening, and just really want to appreciate you being here. Um, I'm told that my background is a bit plain, but this it's good. For me. We not. It's not the show. Is not about the razzle dazzle when we're broadcasting from the lane. I need you. You see exactly what I need you to see, and we live a plain old life over here on the lane. But welcome to my home, where you can, this where it all happens for me, whatever the it is. Yeah, right here on the lane. So you at least get in here, and it's not, it's all right, cozy. So, as we normally do, we want to go ahead and express our deep and profound appreciation for DJ CEO and Mrs. DJ CEO, aka Tampa Bay Tammy, for making this platform happen. The In Touch News broadcast, the tremendous programming throughout the day, throughout the week, and really appreciate them for all the leadership over the years in journalism with In Touch magazine and now with the In Touch News radio station. And of course, you can tune in to us, the In Touch News programming and the Life Malcolm Show on the In Touch News Facebook page, the In Touch News YouTube channel, and of course at www.intouchnews.com. Now, gotta give a big shout out to my man DJ Bezel, who's out there in the digital world, doing his thing to make this program everything we need it to be for you. And speaking of you, gotta thank you for tuning in to the Life Malcolm Show. I hope you're checking us out live. If not, appreciate you checking us out later. What they say, live or later. One way or the other, it's all good. So appreciate you being here. And today's show is, how we do the same. If you're just tuning in, like if this is your first season catching the Life Malcolm Show, then you are experiencing the new Life Malcolm Show format, if you will. But it's something that we've worked on over the course of time as we developed the Life Malcolm Show over this past inaugural season. Now, we've come to learn what things people appreciate perhaps most, appreciate quite a bit. And now we figured out a way, hopefully, to pull those things together, synthesize them, and now offer a more predictable, perhaps even a bit more organized experience for our listeners. Because I ain't gonna lie, man, I used to just get on here and talk and kind of kick it sometimes because that's what I like to do. It's a lot to talk about, and I like kicking it with you, and that's kind of how we would do it. But like I said, and that part of that process was just kind of feeling things out, getting the feedback, seeing what people appreciated most about the Life Malcolm Show, what captured their attention, or what they wanted to hear more about or more of. And I think we got some good ideas about that now. So we customarily these days do this thing where we start off with something light, and then we move into something a little heavy. And the something light is always a little heavy, and the something heavy, of course, is always heavy. And then we talk about a word from the word, and bring the whole show to conclusion. And I wish I could tell you to call me, but you can't. I don't know. I'm in Zoom world, so I don't know what happens if you call the call-in number. I guess maybe somebody at the radio station might answer, but I won't be there and able to respond to your call. But I'm sure you can holler at us in the Facebook chat, holler at us in the YouTube comment section or what have you. And my man DJ Bezel is gonna keep me up on whatever you saying when you come through with with the messages. So let's work it like that. And I think next week we'll be live in the store. We live now, but next week I think we'll be in studio. No more remote uh, remote in touch. You know what I mean? That's on in touch and remote touch. No more remote in touch. We're gonna be in touch next week. At least that's what I understand is gonna happen. So we're looking forward to that. But okay, let's move on to something light. Uh, as you know, this past weekend was the Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration stuff, which concluded with, you know, if I didn't say, if you don't know, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, January 15th, is also the day that a jury of people acquitted me of 3 charges that could have sent me to prison for like 7 years, 7 years ago. And yeah, I'd just be getting out of prison right now if if the jury had convicted me and the judge sentenced me to the maximum penalty, which was not out of the question given the nature of my uh, organizational work in the community. The objective, in my view, was to put me behind bars for a very long time. That's why the pigs trumped up those charges. The state carried those charges all the way to the door and tried to, get me jammed up. But the people said something different, and we appreciate that. So, but yeah, so Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, the 15th, and it's also a special day for me because I was free at last. Nothing felt better than hearing that judge say, "You are free to go." The jury of your peers having found you not guilty. I find you not guilty. I adjudicate you not guilty, and you are free to go. I felt great. Nothing felt better that day. Yeah. So anyway, got a chance to. I didn't really do a whole lot of festivities around the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday this year. Didn't go to. I know there's a festival that happens somewhere in downtown Tampa each year. I didn't. I used to go to that, but wasn't compelled to participate in that this year. As a matter of fact, I don't really know anybody who. No, I've heard nothing about it. No reports. So I don't even know who was there. As far as I think they have like musical guests and whatnot, but I don't remember hearing anything about that. So I didn't go, and I didn't attend. There's something else. Oh, now the Toba breakfast I would have liked to have attended, but um, quite frankly I didn't get tickets in time. But that's always a grand event. Get to go and see people we haven't seen in quite some time, and I quite enjoy that. And sometimes they have really really, just call them inspirational presenters, speakers, what have you. So I hate I missed that. But tell you what, I did get to go to the Martin Luther King Jr. parade here in Tampa, and it was dope. But let me tell you about my parade experience. So I live over here in the Robles Park area. Man, for those of you who might not know what that is, that's in the hood, as some would call it, right over just east of downtown and just west of 275. So kind of like in the middle of the city where everybody trying to move back to, all them people who moved out, moved away to the Carolwoods and the New Tampas and all that stuff. All them people's now trying to come back into town. Now that after they done ran all us who were stuck here out, when they shut down Central Park, Tampa Park, North Boulevard Homes and all that, ran us out of them places. Now, they've done beautified downtown Tampa, and people, uh, what do they call it? They don't call it beautified. They've revitalized downtown Tampa, and that's a good word for downtown Tampa because I remember when downtown Tampa was BEAB, wasn't nothing popping in downtown Tampa but the Hillsborough County Courthouse. And I mean, you could any day of the week you can go downtown Tampa and you will see long line at the courthouse like it was a club, right? But all the shops empty, bunch of abandoned buildings, no businesses, no burgeoning businesses. Now, fast forward, all the Africans been run out from the vicinity. Then you got all kind of stuff popping in downtown Tampa, breweries. Anyway, that's another story. But then go to the parade. I'm gonna tell you about the parade. So my daughter, my youngest daughter, you've met her. She was on an episode of the Life Malcolm show before. My youngest daughter and I decided, well, really, I decided that we would walk to the parade. Oftentimes, it's difficult to find parking trying to get to the parade. So I decided we would walk to the parade because I thought it was close. I thought that the parade began like at MLK and Nebraska, which is it's a little hike for me, maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe about 2 miles or something like that. But so what? 2 miles, we'll do it. So what we did was we walked a little south of our home to Nebraska, which is south of MLK. And then we walked to Nebraska and walked all the way to MLK, only to discover that's not where the parade began. No parade in sight. But I had an inkling that it was somewhere on MLK, so we proceeded east of MLK. So from MLK in Nebraska, we walked all the way to 15th in MLK to discover that was like somewhere close to the end of the parade, and we had just missed the city officials as they passed by. And I ain't had no problem with that. We missed the city officials, and that's probably best for me. It worked out good. The ancestors were looking out, and so my daughter and I then proceeded to walk back south, like all the way from where we came. We ended up back on 21st Avenue, which is Nebraska once you cross Nebraska. So we walked all the way back down there to where the parade began. And then we crossed the street and walked all the way back to MLK and 15th. And then we walked up MLK to 22nd and down to where the parade ended, somewhere near Middleton. Yeah, a lot of walking. My daughter and I walked for about 4.5 hours, about 18,000 steps. And it was dope. I can't lie. I love walking. I miss walking. I've been really busy these days lately and haven't been able to do a lot of the walking that I would ordinarily do before I become so inundated with responsibilities that I did not anticipate over the past few months. But no complaints. I'm just saying, just can't walk like I used to. Get out there and do it. But yesterday, it's like I made up for the past 3 months of no walking. And we out there. The cool thing, though, man, is like walking the entire parade was that I got an opportunity to see so many people whom I've not seen in ages, and some whom I've seen in ages, not so long ago, but like I haven't seen them in quite some time, and we go way back type stuff. Like, for example, ran into my man Paul Dawson, whom I have not seen in a few years, right? But it was so good to see him because like it's a guy I went to kindergarten with. We all went to Miss Wheeler's nursery, College Hill nursery together, and every time we see each other, it's not love. We also kind of went to the same church for a minute, but it was good seeing him, being able to ask him about his mother. He asked about my family, and we just kind of talk and laugh, and then that was on the outside of the parade. And then in the parade was my man Lonnie Mills. Lonnie Mills and I see Lonnie on Facebook, and it's always love and good comments and how you doing with the book. But I haven't seen this brother since. Well, that's not true. But we first met in seventh grade, but and we stayed kind of tight. Even when I was at Jesuit, so up through high school. But I probably haven't seen Lonnie in person since uh, since high school years. And I just turned 47, about to get into my 30th class reunion in a few months, high school class reunion in a few months, and it's been quite some time since I've seen Lonnie Mills. But it was good to see him looking happy, looking healthy and strong. And then this who else did I see that was pretty cool? Man, I tell you what, I saw this brother named Gregory McKnight, and some of y'all might know who Gregory McKnight is. He's a cool dude. He's a photographer. He got this card right here. The only thing that changed about the card is the colors. But yeah, my man Gregory McKnight, and was out there, and so he, if you know Greg, you know why I'm laughing, because Greg is kind of rough around the edges, not the most savory character, and but brother who always shows a lot of genuine love and good, just good energy. Saw some sisters, man, that I hadn't seen in quite some time. One sister was always at the gym at Cascading Park at the Boys and Girls Club when I played basketball for the Eagles. And so I wasn't no real big basketball player or nothing like that. Played basketball and during my high school years, but only for the city league. So and it was important. We won trophies. We got teammates from that period. People, coach. Coach Julius just died. Definitely that was a big blow. And but we still got Coach Dion, who's still around doing this thing. As a Dion's a notary now, and we used to see Dion when I was back at HCC, resuming my education in my 40s and whatnot. And so but I hadn't seen this sister in forever, and she remembered me from basketball, and and she's like, yeah, from the basketball court to the courthouse. And I was like, yeah. And so that was cool, man. Just a lot of people, but the most important thing, I would say. Well, no. Let me back up and say some more cool things about. There were, one of the first people I ran into, the sister who I see quite often because she rides down Young Life Lane all the time, and she saw me with my youngest daughter, Yaya Yeezy, and she said, "Whoa, y'all look just like that child. Look just like you." I've never heard that before. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. I mean it. I never heard that Yaya looks just like me. And Yaya and I walked a little farther down the street, and somebody, somebody else expressed the same sentiment. Talking about looked like it was my man Bruce. Talking about looked like I spit out. Say that don't have a problem in court if I ever tried to deny. The judge would say we don't even need a test. And then after we walked, I told you we walked a lot. After we walked a little farther, somebody else said the same thing. So 3 times yesterday, somebody told me that my youngest daughter and myself look just alike. So that was pretty cool. I don't know how she feels about that, but I'm honored that that someone as pretty as she is, resembles something like me, and yeah, so that was pretty cool. Ran into some people who cook some good boiled peanuts, and I'm gonna tell you, think my daughter, all my daughters, think they're learning that one of the perks of hanging out with dad is you don't have to pay for much, because I bought some boiled peanuts for me, and they ended up being for us. I don't mind sharing. I'm a socialist, but I just thought it was cool, kind of cute that everything I wanted, she wanted too. But this is, this as long as she didn't have to pay for it. And I like doing things like that. But the boiled peanuts are off the chain. I don't really eat junk food like that, but I did have an Italian icy. That was cool. I got to see people in the parade doing their thing. Shout out to my man Sean Shaw, Leon Gallen, some of my man Marvin Knight, Danny Green. Somebody was sitting next to Danny. Some of my man Jerry Brunson, Mark Vance, who opened up the parade with the national anthem. Man, so many people just out there. Oh, my man Cato, the photo guy. Um, but here's the thing, though. Like, here's the coolest thing. Man, I saw a lot of people. Man, a lot of people. Um, and it was nothing but love everywhere, yo, everywhere. And it's cool because, like, I've been going for 3 years. Last year, I'm pretty sure I didn't attend the parade. I don't even know if there was one, but if there was one, I'm certain I didn't attend. And being back with the whole COVID stuff, not being out much, not seeing people, and being away from people for so long, it's easy to believe that people forget about you. You know what I mean? Don't really remember, like, but yo, it was almost like I never left. So much love. I mean, everywhere I went, nothing but handshakes and hugs, and it was like really the coolest thing. And to that point, man, I was able to sell a gang of burning spears. I was like, bam, bam, bam. Gave Yaya 5 spears. She sold 5, and then selling burning spears. This was her first time selling spears, and it got so good to her. She was like, "Dad, let me get 5 more." So I gave her, 5 spears. So we sold together between the two of us. We sold quite a few burning spear newspapers, and like everybody who accepted my offer to buy the burning spear was just man love, man. They was like, "Oh, y'all, I know you be on that. Let me get that. I need that information. I need that wisdom. Da, 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 da. Glad to see you doing it. Don't stop what you're doing." And that's why it's so important to me as an African revolutionary to be in the street with the people. I don't. This. Social media stuff is good, but I love being with the people. I really hate that the colonial virus has us where we don't really get out and be among each other like we used to. But man, yesterday was so super cool. And I think the last thing I'll say about the parade is this: if you know anything about me for the past couple decades, I've been clear about the fact that if we're gonna stop people from killing us, we gotta we gotta uh, hell. I said the only way to stop people from killing you is to kill the killers. Get rid of the killers. Exterminate the killers. I don't care who it is. As I've developed over the course of time in my political maturity, I've been able to say that to identify these people as bandits. And that's what I mean. Whether we're talking bandits with badges or bandits without badges, bandits have no right to exist in our community. No, they have no. There's no benefit to having bandits in our community. If we want our community to be a better place, a safer place for ourselves, our loved ones, our children, etc., then it's our responsibility to eliminate the bandits. And so, one of my signature pieces, I mean, you might see it even when you observe my announcement about the show or whatever else I'm doing, you'll see me say that um, the only way to stop the violence, because people keep calling, stop the violence, stop the violence, stop the violence. And I've come to say that the only way to stop the violence is to kill the bandits. So, as I made my way, Yaya and I made our way through the parade, this one sister saw me, called her Antoinette, called her Smitty. She saw me. She said, "Oh, hey, life." Like, what's up? You know, it's always love for her. And she said that there was this group. This is no, this ain't no criticism on on this particular group expressing as best they could their um, their their angst to 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 deal with the violence in our community. You know, they're urging to deal with the violence in our community, and so you could hear them in the parade chanting, you know, stop the violence, stop the violence, you know, stop the violence. And Antoinette said that when they said stop the violence, she yelled out in response, the only way to stop the violence is to stop the bandits. And when she told me that, she said, I hope I said it right. I said, that was good enough. You know, it's good enough. But I really appreciate the fact that we're doing some good work. Just constantly repeating, constantly doing this education, even in the most subtle ways, in Facebook posts. Because I don't repeat that refrain, that saying often. There's not an opportunity to just inject that into a discussion often, but I write it often. Almost everything I post has that saying in there. And Antoinette's brief, brief anecdote let me know that people are watching, people are paying attention, and not only that, it makes sense. It makes sense enough for people to repeat. People can understand. People can see the logic. People can see the material basis in the message. It's no message of hate. It's no message um, um, it's no message of violence. It's a message to stop the violence. And of course, it builds on Malcolm X's brilliance when he talked about wanting to stop the Klan. You don't saying that you want to do something to make them stop doing something to you is not violent. It just means you want to stop the violence. And so, yeah, that's something light. I told you sometimes the something light could get heavy. And so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna do a little brief political education. When we come back, we're about to get ready to take a break in about a minute. I can tell you what's gonna happen exactly when we come back. We're gonna come back and we're gonna read the African pledge together. Well, I'm gonna read it, but you'll be with me as I do. We're gonna read the African pledge, then we're gonna jump into the Burning Spear newspaper, this this month's edition, this year's first edition of the Burning Spear newspaper. But we're not gonna go through the all the paper. Just want to read to you the 14 points of the African People's Socialist Party. We have a 14-point platform. And people ask me all the time, what's this Burning Spear newspaper you talk about? What's this African People's Socialist Party you talk about? Wait, what is, you got these buzzwords? What's that? Why y'all? And so I want you to know a little bit more about the African People's Socialist Party. We're going to tell you what we want and what we believe. All 14 what we want, what we believe points of the African People's Socialist Party. Right here on the Life Malcolm Show on In Touch News Radio. Right after this, y'all. We'll be right back. Appreciate you hanging out. All right, all right, all right. We back. Welcome back to the Life Malcolm Show, right here on In Touch News. Gonna get started right quick. We're gonna jump right into our physical education piece. And wet my whistle. Gonna do a lot of reading. First, we're gonna start with the African pledge. The African pledge is a pledge that comes up out of the African People's Socialist Party, and the African pledge reads: I pledge allegiance to my African people. I pledge to develop my mind and body to the greatest extent possible. I will learn all that I can in order to give my best to my people and our struggle for liberation through revolution. I will keep myself physically fit, building a strong body free from drugs and other substances which weaken me and make me less capable. Weaken me and make me less capable of defending myself, my family, and my African brothers and sisters. I will unselfishly share my knowledge and understanding with others in order to bring about change more quickly. I will discipline myself to direct my energies thoughtfully and constructively rather than wasting time in idle hatred. I will train myself never to hurt or allow others to harm my African brothers and sisters, for I recognize that we need every African man, woman, and child to be physically, mentally, and psychologically strong. These principles I pledge to practice daily and to teach them to others in order to unite my people in the struggle for freedom and independence. Uhuru, the African pledge. I think that's a good way to open up our political education pieces each week. Okay, so because we spent a lot of time talking about something light and got a little heavy, we're going to read the what we want, what we believe, all 14 points. We're not going to, I don't know if we're going to read the entire what we believe part, but what we will do in order to make it through these 14 points today is read the what we want piece, which is a one sentence piece, and then we'll read the what we believe, the first sentence of what we believe in each of the 14 points. Cool? All right, let's do it. Point number 1. We want peace, dignity, and the right to build a prosperous life through our own labor and in our own interests. We believe that the U.S. North American government and society were founded on the genocide of Native people, the theft of their land, and the forcible dispersal, enslavement, and colonization of millions of African people. DJ, cut the music. Now, what that means? That means that that we believe that this land, not only do we recognize the land does not belong to the U.S. colonizer, but we also, this is what's so important. One of the things that's so important about this point is the fact that the point recognizes that who the true owners, if there is such a thing, the true possessors, if you will. I'm trying to, because it's not ownership. Because I don't even believe the Native people believe they own the land, but whose land it was and still is before taken by theft and conquest. This land belongs to the people who inhabited it first, not the U.S. colonizer. And then some of us come along trying to be like the U.S. colonizer and claim that it's our land too, and we say stupid stuff to justify it, like we was born here, so we get to participate in the theft of the land too, or we were forced to work on the land, so we can participate. That gives us some kind of entree to participate in the exploitation of somebody else's land too, and it's just a real backwards kind of philosophy. And so this point is spot on, recognizing that not only is this not the land, not only does this land not belong to the U.S. colonizer, but this land belongs to the Native people, the indigenous people. Point number 2, we want the rights to economic development and creative and productive employment which promote the needs and well-being of our entire people. We believe that colonialism is a blood-sucking system which causes all economic development to benefit the colonialist ruling class, state, and society at the expense of our colonized people. Point number 3. We want an end to all local, state, federal, and other taxation of black people by the U.S. government and any of its agencies. We believe that such taxation is illegitimate, that black people have no real or meaningful authority within the U.S. government, and that U.S. taxation of African people is therefore taxation without representation. Point number 4. We want the right to free speech and political association, a guarantee of the right to work for the betterment and emancipation of black people without fear of political imprisonment and the loss of life, limb, and said I muted myself. Okay, yeah, that threat is always there. We believe that the liberation of African people throughout the world will come primarily as a result of our own efforts. Point number 5. We want the right to international political and economic association with Africans and all other peoples anywhere on the face of the earth. We believe that all black people are African people and are part of a single national entity. You know how we feel about that. We've had this discussion many times on the Life Malcolm Show regarding nationalism, the national question. If you look like me, if you have melanin in your skin, big nose, thick lips, you showing up African. I'm not, and we come in all shades and sizes and what have you. But there's some of us who look as African as can be, and get confused about whether we are British or Jamaican or American or something like that, and that's just nonsense. We want point number 6. We want the immediate and unconditional release of all black people who are presently locked down in U.S. prisons. We believe that all the African men and women who are locked down in the U.S. concentration camps, commonly known as prisons, are there due to decisions, laws, and circumstances which were created by aliens and foreigners for their own benefit and as a means of genocidal colonialist control. And that's not to say that we ought to let these people out and should nothing happen to them. No, that's to say that if something should happen to them, that determination should be made by African people. The fact that something should happen to these Africans is a determination that should be made by African people, and what that something is a determination that should be made by African people. Point number 7. We want complete amnesty for all African political prisoners and prisoners of war from U.S. prisons or their immediate release to any friendly country which will accept them and give them political asylum. We believe that U.S. prisons are also used as the illegitimate tool for torturing, murdering, and holding captive those courageous daughters and sons of Africa who, through their patriotic deeds or spoken written words in support of the cause of our liberation, have become political prisoners and prisoners of war. All right, so change the program. We're not going to read all 14. We're going to stop right there at number 7, because I do want to get into a word from the word and give it some time. So next week we'll come back. We'll finish up with 8 through 14. So we read 1 through 7 of the African People's Socialist Party's 14-point platform. You should get you a Burning Spear newspaper. You should go to burningspearnewspaper.org. Google the Burning Spear newspaper. You find the right link, whatever's going to work best for you, and do that. And get you a Burning Spear newspaper so you can read along with us next week. All right, here we go. Let's get to a word from the word. So, the word from the word for me usually is a consequence of some discussion that brings out some ideas about the Bible. And if you don't know, for me, a word from the word is me kind of bringing some kind of revolutionary analysis to the Bible. And they say, well, what does that mean? Because a lot of people who claim to believe in the Bible and do Christianity somehow are able to completely overlook the all the political implications of the Bible. When I say that, I mean like there's almost there are very few chapters, let alone books, very few chapters in the Bible, comparatively speaking, right? That that don't have something to do with one nation taking control of another nation, or one nation fighting to get from under the control of another nation, or two nations fighting against each other for control. It's the whole Bible, for all intents and purposes, is about these political struggles between nations, between men. The Bible is not a story about this constant battle between devils and angels and God and demons and stuff. The Bible is about these men and nations fighting for control and power, and one nation exploiting the other, and so on. And you have these revolutionaries throughout the Bible who did some tremendous work, Jesus being one of them. And somehow, people who do Christianity and stuff like that, read the Bible, can somehow completely liquidate that aspect of the Bible and only see like what they call miracles and supernatural types of the stuff that the Bible seems to point to in some passages. But this thing came up for me the other day in a discussion where Jesus goes and talks to, it's called the Beatitudes, some people say, characterized it as Matthew chapter 5. And it says that Jesus, chapter 5, starting with verse 1, we're going to read all the way down to verse 11. Fortunately, they're short verses, so we're going to get right through them. It says, and seeing the multitude, he went up into a mountain, he being Jesus. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, so he taught the disciples, and he said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. All right. So this idea came up for me about peace and peacemakers. And it was a response to last week's Miles combat liberalism. I'm thinking there's this other piece that I want to deal with one day called smash liberalism, and I was getting those two confused. But no, it's combat liberalism. Smash liberalism and raise principal struggle is the piece I'm thinking about. But combat liberalism is what we dealt with last week. And so, there was a response to that, and that response was like, well, kind of like the Bible talks about peacemakers, because in combat liberalism, Miles says go into a subject thoroughly, get down to the nitty gritty. Don't just be passive. If there's an issue, deal with the issue. As a matter of fact, let me pull that piece. Like Miles said, to let things slide for the sake of peace and friendship when a person has clearly gone wrong. So when they wrong, right? And mom say let that slide just to keep peace and friendship, and refrain from principled argument because he's an old acquaintance or a fellow townsman, a schoolmate, or a close friend, a loved one, an old colleague, or old subordinate, or to touch on the matter lightly, just kind of gloss over it, like, child, you're wrong, instead of going into it thoroughly so as to keep on good terms. The result is that both the organization and the individual are harmed. This is one type of liberalism. So the response to that was this biblical idea that Jesus said something about being peacemakers, in this scripture, and he did, and he says specifically that blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. But the Bible has a lot of scriptures, and I didn't go searching. I'm reading this particular scripture. It's quite a few scriptures in the Bible where the Bible tells us that we ought to grow up. It's one thing to be a children of God, a child of God, and it might be something else to be a grown up of God. When a man, when I became a man, I think it's a scripture in the Bible. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I thought as a child, I did childish things. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And so, to be a peacemaker, a peacemaker, one who is a peacemaker, will be called a children of God, and I'm sure that has its place. But pick up on this plot twist, if you will. Jesus had a few things to say about peace in another verse in the book of Matthew. In the book of Matthew, chapter 10, I believe, chapter 10, verse 5, we're going to see these words. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not. So he tell them, be segregated. Don't. Now, Paul would tell you, everybody's okay. It's okay to integrate and be with everybody. Everybody is, all good. Jesus say, hey, don't go into the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's he talking about what they call the Jews. So many people call the Jews in the Bible. He talking about Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob children. Jacob was named changed to Israel. He said, go to your people, and as you go preach and saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand, heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat. And into whatever city or town ye shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till ye go thence. And when ye come into a house, salute it. And if the house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you. Take your peace back. So, peace can be given, and sometimes should, obviously, according to this scripture, the peace should be taken back. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house, shake off the dust of your feet. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. And Jesus says a whole lot more, right? But then he gets down to this verse that I want to deal with, verse 34, where let's I want to because there's one piece I want to catch right here. All right. Okay. All right, here we go. Right here. All right, so verse 34. We're gonna go with that. Think not, Jesus says, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And the man's foes shall be they of his own household. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me, and he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. So Jesus, now Jesus said that the blessed are the peacemakers because they're going to be called children of God. But Jesus said, follow me. He said that I ain't come to bring peace. People think that, and there's some people right now today who would have us believe that Jesus came somehow to bring peace or to be peace. But Jesus himself in this book that people who do Christianity claim to follow says in no equivocal terms, I ain't come to send peace, but a sword. And he goes into it thoroughly and makes it plain. It says, I came to put the father against the son, the old against the new. That's what dialectics is. Dialectical materialism. Dialectics is the dying out of the old and the coming into existence of the new. Said, and oftentimes, all the time, that dynamic of the dying out of the old and the coming into existence of the new, all the time causes struggle. There's not peace there. There's strife and struggle when that phenomenon occurs. And Jesus said that's what he came to bring. He came to set at variance the father against the son, the mother against the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law, the old, the new and the old against each other. Came not to send peace, right, but a sword. And then he says, take up the cross and follow him. And so, my understanding is this. You can tell me what you think. I love to hear what you think. I love to hear what you think. Let's do like Miles say. Let's talk about it. Let's go into it thoroughly. There's nothing wrong with being a peacemaker. Some people, that's being a peacemaker will probably represent the height of their development, the height of their Christian maturity, if you will, the height of their political maturity, if you will, to maintain peace, to go along, to get along, to maintain peace. And although Miles says that's not good, and Jesus doesn't necessarily say it's good or bad, but he said blessed. Sometimes you see somebody say bless their heart. I think it might be scripture. I don't know if it's a scripture or just an old saying. People say God looks out for what is it, babies and fools or something like that. So bless his heart. The child, the children of God. The immature of God maybe. But Jesus said that's not me. I'm not the peacemaker. Blessed are the peacemakers. That's good. Right on. But me, no, I came to stir it up. I came to raise up the contradiction between the new and the old. And what did he say? That he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me. Follow after me. Don't follow after the peacemakers. Follow after me, who came not to bring peace, but a sword. Don't follow after the children of God, the peacemakers, but follow after me, who came to put daughter against mother. Don't follow the peacemakers, but follow after me, who came to put set father against son. Don't follow the peacemakers. Follow after me, who came to put the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. Yeah. So much so that if you follow after me, you're gonna stir up stuff in your own house. Your foes are gonna be those in your own household if you follow after me, right? Like similar to what Miles said, don't just go along to get along, keep peace, what have you. But make some foes in your house if you follow after me. And so yeah, that's that's a word from the word for the day. And I got like one more minute, and I just want to say this in that one more minute before we go. Yo, life is poetry. One of the things I didn't tell you about is while I was out there doing the foot tour for the MLK Day parade. A lot of people were like, yo, you still doing poetry? You still doing poetry? Nah, when you gonna do poetry again? Well, I don't know, y'all, but I got a strong feeling it's coming. Life is poetry, and can't stop being poetry. So look for the dopest spoken word event that you've ever seen coming to you in 2022. All right, y'all, that's my time. Just wanted to make that announcement. I really appreciate y'all kicking in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Political education and a word from the word seem to be right in the zone. So, In Touch News, Life Malcolm Show. I'm your host, Life Malcolm. We'll see you next week in the studio. In touch for real. All right, now.